All right, good morning, guys. We should be live. Computer's acting a little weird today. Hopefully it doesn't mess up the stream, but it's running a little slow. I think there's an update going on or something. Let me see if I'm dropping frames or anything. I think we're okay. All right, let's take a look at the pre-market here. I think we had a little bit of data today. Let me take a look. Not yet. Comes out at 10 o'clock. So we had a lot of data for smaller things in the pre-market, unemployment claims, non-farm productivity. Nothing too major. Looks like most of it was bearish on the dollar. Let's see how the dollar's reacting. The dollar's actually going up. Most of that is bearish, funny enough. Unemployment was right at expectations. Non-farm productivity was bearish. And let's see here. Unit labor cost was bearish. Trade balance was bearish. But they're basically all right at expectations, so not too bearish there. But the dollar doesn't care. It seems to be going up anyway. Dollar's up almost 1% today on the pre-market. Let's go ahead and take a look at the overnight levels here. Overnight high trading at 37.82. Overnight low is just before the opening candle, so not too good there. Closing on the extreme. Overnight low trading at 37.26, and we're already breaking that on the opening candle here. Pre-market is pretty much a capital B. We do have a little bit of an LVN zone kind of right here, so I'll mark that out as well. We're going to say today is a capital B day, which means you want to lean bearish, sell retest, macro is leaning bearish as well. There is a possible overnight fade. Let me add that. Possible overnight fade into, where's that gap? 37.50 to 57. So we're just going to say 37.50 to 55 here. Initial balance holding below, let's see here, 37.26 would be bearish into this POC level at 37.16. And then finally we have 36.86. Initial balance above, I would say, probably 42, 37.42 would be bullish into that overnight fade, which is 37.55. And then finally, where's that level here? 37, probably around, I'd say 60 to 64 here. Let's say 64. All right, that's the trade plan for today. So the FOMC did end up being bearish, obviously. We pumped up, trapped like 10,000 contracts, then quickly squeezed them out. Dropped, let's see here. It dropped 146 points into the close. Then obviously we're dropping even more now. But after trapping those buyers around the weekly open, we dropped 146 points. Massive buy pressure at 37.25, 5,200 contracts here. Take a look at this. 5,200 contracts. That is a huge block on that opening candle at 37.25. That is almost the overnight low. That's one of the biggest single tick nodes we have seen in a long time. That is a huge single tick node. It's being respected as well. It's holding the overnight low for now, causing that overnight low sweep. Possible overnight fade into the 50s. All right, let's see who's in chat today. What's going on? Jay, Andrew, Juan, KL, Vic, Myron, Shannon, Blood, Rio, Lewis, Andy, SH, 2, Dimitronics, Fernando, Siva, Leo, Proven, Aquarius, Fortunate. Who else we have here? Daryl, Ross, Manzer, Wall Street, Patrick, Kevin, Zacharias, Phil, Mastro, Shiny, Johnny, Style. Good morning, guys. So we're going to be doing our part 3, which will most likely be the final part of the Footprint series later today. So be sure to come by around 3 p.m. Eastern. We're going to finish up that series. If you haven't already, once we take a break from the morning, we'll probably close the morning stream around 11. Once we take a break from the morning stream, just go back and watch part 1 and part 2 if you haven't already, and then we'll do the part 3 around 3 p.m. The part 3 is going to be talking about how to read Footprint on a much smaller time scale. So how to read it on like a 2500 volume chart, or if you're using like a 1 minute chart, something lower than a 1 minute, maybe like a tick chart, excuse me. We're going to be talking mainly about absorption levels. So levels being absorbed, like buy wall, sell wall type stuff. And then we'll close it off by talking about Delta. Delta is going to be a very small segment, probably like 5-10 minutes. Really nothing fancy about Delta, but we'll talk about that at the end. Basically, what we'll be covering during the video today, and funny enough, we actually had a really nice wall that we can use as an example here. We're going to be covering stuff like this, where you have these really big walls just absorbing one direction. I think that's the only example that we have currently. Yeah, for now, that looks like it's the only example. Hopefully it gives us a little bit more today. Currently sitting on VWAP around 37.28. Make sure to keep an eye on this node. That is a massive node that we are trying to protect. You can see it already back tested it once. Good morning, Joe, Gregors, Michael, Fernando. What's going on, guys? 3-minute sell still holding from the pre-market. It sold around 37. We do have some data coming out in about 10 minutes. One second, guys. Just updating Discord really quick. All right, we did shift the POC down already, so big shift in volume down to the 30s. 32 is the POC now. 5,000 contracts stuck on that 25 level. I wouldn't say they're being squeezed just yet, but they are definitely getting a little bit underwater here, 6 points underwater. The correlation with ZN is finally starting to come back. Hopefully we can start trading that again. It's at 0.65. Started doing all this analysis on ZN to trade it alongside ES, and then the correlation broke, so we gotta wait for the correlation to come back. Going for the overnight fade, it looks like there's a little LVN zone here at 37. Once you break through that, the overnight fade target would be around the 50s. Yeah, this is on the 3 minute, I believe. Should be. Yeah, they could be out already, the trap sellers. But normally you want to see a pretty big squeeze to get them out. You want to see candles like this. So what you want to see for squeezes is basically what we saw yesterday on the FOMC. That is absolutely textbook. So if you guys go back and watch the part 2 of the Footprint series, and then you go back and watch how yesterday played out on the FOMC, that is exactly what you want to see. We saw the A-shaped top where it pushed up really hard. It trapped like 10,000 contracts on the high, and then you started to slowly grind down, just kind of threatening those positions, not really squeezing them. And then once it started to lose that level, they got absolutely squeezed out, and you nuked really quickly. So when you're squeezing on Footprint, you need to see basically something like this, where when it's pushing away from the trapped traders, almost every single node should be imbalanced against those traders because they have to close their positions, right? So for this one, it's a bearish node, right? So it's 5,000 bearish. So when we're squeezing them, we need to see a lot of bullish imbalance on the way up because that will tell us that they're being squeezed out. So this is trying to do that. You can see a lot of bullish imbalance here, but it's stalling out very early. It's only pushing them by about 10 points here. And 10 points is not going to be enough for a 5,000 contract squeeze. You're going to have to get to that, the mid-50s. Yeah, so like if I screenshot the 30-minute footprint like we talked about in our video, I think it was on Tuesday, you can see that this is the bottom of the candle, right? So we have 5,000 contracts stuck right there. The line is all the way up here, so it doesn't even show you the line. That's how quickly we bounced out of that area. We don't even have a close somewhere down there. And what did we talk about on the video? We talked about how you want to see a negative imbalance on the low, and then you want to see a positive imbalance above that negative imbalance, right? On the way back up. So what do we see here? We see a negative imbalance on the low, and we see a positive imbalance going back up on the above the POC here. So they're already beginning to be squeezed here. It's not fully squeezing them out. Like I said, you're probably gonna have to get to like mid 50s to fully squeeze them out. But you're definitely starting to see that price action that you want to see. Okay, they are no longer being squeezed out. They're completely protected. And now we're actually squeezing some of the buyers here. So look at this right here. All of this buyer imbalance up here is completely trapped. Not a lot of contracts, only about, let's see, actually pretty decent amount, 3,500. 3,500 contracts stuck up there now. We actually have a big tail imbalance now that we've shifted the POC down. You can't see the tail imbalance. Let me show you here. So you can't see the tail imbalance here because the POC was higher. But now that we've shifted the POC down, if you look at the current tail, this would give us a lower target. Now, typically I don't do tail imbalances like this. I only look at the pre-market. But we can do something kind of like this. So if it wants to balance out this profile, it does have to fill in this lower area right here. Now, like I said, I typically wouldn't do something like this, but just visualize the fact that the POC is here, and we have this kind of upper area right here. If it wants to balance this day out, it has to push down, right? It has to kind of fill in this lower area. Which is why you're in a lean bearish kind of sell retest kind of day. Next major support at 37.16. Looks like it's being front run a little bit here. Oh, sorry, we did just have news. Let me cover that news. I'm guessing that's where the sell pressure is coming from. PMI came out at... Oh, sorry, the big news is at 10 o'clock. Excuse me. Big news comes out at 10, so 10 minutes. The 9:45 news was the final PMI, which is low impact. Came out at 47.8. They were looking for 46.6. It's a little bit higher than normal. How is that pushing the dollar? Dollar's not reacting. Yeah, so 10 more minutes here for the big data. That block trade was bullish at 21. You can see a wall forming right here. This is actually a bearish wall. Let's go back. And we can see that this happened a few times. I think it was last week where we saw that sell-off. And then on the retest, it actually put in that sell wall. Instead of on the way down, they're putting in these walls on the retest. I think my Discord, I'm not sure if you guys can hear me in Discord. It's not letting me send messages. Let me test. Okay, never mind. It's working now. Okay, nasty sell-off here. This is front-running the news. There is no news here. News comes out at 10 o'clock. That sell wall is still holding. They were not able to get a single tick above that level. Sell wall at 21.5. Okay, next major support being lost, 37.16. Next level below this is not until 36.86. So we have a long way to go here. If I zoom out here and I show you where these levels are coming from, if you guys remember back on October 22nd, we had that extremely bullish day where it just went straight up the entire day. We did not retrace this day. This value has not been tested. So that's where these levels are coming from. We've already broken the value area high. We're currently breaking the POC. So once we break the value area low, this whole day has been retraced. So right now we're kind of in that, I wouldn't exactly call it an 80% rule, but it is value retracing. Another level we want to grab here would be this level here. That would be the low a day. There is a bull div, but it's not playing out. It's more of a trap. So this right here is a trap. So it tells you that all the buys right here are being trapped, and they were being trapped. We saw that on the footprint. So that was a big confirmation there. You have to be careful with looking at like bull and bear divs on the Momo, because the traps will look like bull and bear divs, but they're not. They're traps, right? So this looks like it's a bull div, but it's actually giving you a trap signal. Because they have the trend line flattened out here, the downtrend is stable. The short-term momentum is losing steam and completely being lost. So it is trapping the buyers. Sorry, let me see if it will let me update Discord now. I was trying to earlier. It wasn't letting me send messages. 3-minute sell still holding even after that little bull trap there. I'm actually glad the bot didn't get trapped on that because it got trapped on the one this morning at 8 o'clock. Funny enough, let me show you the 30-minute footprint again. So remember I showed you the footprint earlier, and you could see that 5,000 imbalance, right? That imbalance is no longer there anymore. So where was that 5,000 imbalance? That was around, let me see here. Okay, it's still there actually. I thought it was lower than this. So it's at 44 now. So you had a lot of buy pressure there. We actually put in a new one, negative 1,500 at 20. They are not being trapped. So now these guys are being trapped and these guys are being trapped. That's not that many contracts, so they're most likely already squeezed out. These guys are definitely squeezed out. That's like 30 points away. These guys are probably squeezed out as well, almost 20 points away. We have 4 minutes until that news comes out. It's not like insanely high impact. It's not like PCE or anything like that. But it should definitely push the dollar around. Tomorrow will be much higher impact. We have non-farm tomorrow. So you have to watch out for the pre-market 8:30 before the bell. After I hit my profit target, do you leave the computer? Or do you watch the charts and just sit on your hands? I normally just sit on the computer, yeah. I don't leave. I'm normally at the computer from open to close on the market days, Monday to Friday. If I had like a really good trade and we don't really want to trade anymore on the day, I normally just either work on my indicators or work on my teaching material. Like I just work on something else in the background. The perks of having a lot of monitors, right? I still watch everything, but I'm not trading. We have not been hitting our daily goal for the past like 2 weeks. We're definitely behind on the month. We've had a couple of banger trades here and there, but this market has been very hard to trade for my style of trading. The good thing is we're not losing money, right? Knock on wood. But it's very hard for me to be aggressive and take the trades that I need to take when the book is extremely thin and we're just kind of whipsawing both directions. When I see a market like this, I try to be even more patient than I already am, and I already don't take that many trades. So we have not been trading as much as I would like to. We've been averaging probably like a trade a day, which is really low, even for me. Like I typically would like to have at least 2 or 3, and we've only been getting 1 to 2 tops. Okay, there's the news. Big reaction right away on ES. Huge reaction on ES. Let's take a look at dollar. Dollar coming down a little bit. It didn't come out that bad. 54.4. They were looking for 55.5, so big overreaction there. Yeah, big overreaction. Instantly sold off too. You can see it hit that note at 21. Instantly sold off. Yeah, I should be taking more trades on my Apex, Johnny. I'm just having a really hard time separating the two. It's funny when I have like my small account challenges. We haven't done one in a while, but when we do our small account challenges where we do like $500, $1,000, whatever, we're pretty good at separating that trading mindset from my real account. But with Apex, it's really hard for me to separate the two for some reason, like mentally. How's the dollar doing here? Still holding. We're getting lucky with our teaching stuff because I wanted to teach the like lower time frame footprint with all the walls today, and we're actually getting a pretty decent amount of walls, so that's good. Where's VWAP here? Keep an eye on VWAP if we do continue to bounce. Big push on Delta. There's actually a Delta bull div here. It's an exaggerated div. And kind of. Depends on how you look at it. Price is falling at a much faster rate than Delta, but Delta is still decreasing. So technically there's not a div there, but the rate of change is 100% a divergence. Watch out for VWAP at 37.23. Do we have any high time frame? We're actually back below the monthly VWAP. That is not good. So the monthly VWAP close here, the one that we were talking about before. Oh, sorry, this is a new monthly VWAP. So we lost the one that we were talking about before. 38.60 was that level we needed to hold on to. We lost that thanks to the FOMC. But there's a new monthly VWAP. So we just started November, right? So the monthly VWAPs that we look at are the monthly VWAP closes of the previous month. We're not looking at the current monthly VWAP. So the monthly VWAP close, and let me hide my other indicator here so you can see. The monthly VWAP close of October is exactly where we are right now, about 37.25, which funny enough was where that block trade was as well. So we need to hold on to this level. As we can see, if we zoom out, all these dotted lines, these are the monthly VWAP closes. When we stay below these levels, fun stuff does not happen. You can see it just completely nukes every time, right? What we could see is kind of what we saw, what was that, in September. So we had that August monthly VWAP close right here. You came back to retest it right at the start of September, and we had that beautiful bounce off that level. But not looking too good so far because you can see here, that's 3 months worth of VWAP around 3860 to 3900, and we're completely losing that. Failing VWAP here, by the way, daily VWAP. But yeah, for the long-term guys in here, losing that 3860 is bad news. If we throw on a volume profile here, excuse me, You can see the POC is actually just barely below that, but look at all this volume right here. We lost 3 major nodes. You have a major node here, major node there, and you weren't able to come back to that node there. The only support left is this major node right here, which is from 37, probably 10, down to 3650. Once that is lost, you can see the volume. There's no value here. So once we lose that, you could very easily sweep these lows here. Excuse me. This would be more on a longer time scale, obviously, not for the scalping guys in here. But once we lose that level, there's basically no protection. A little bit of a 5-minute bull dip here. Not looking too bad. 3 minutes showing a bull dip now as well. See if we can hold back above VWAP. I think Delta is almost high a day. Let's take a look. Yeah, Delta is high a day here. So here are those demand blocks, the bearish demand. We're reclaiming one of them, failing on the second one. This is the block that had the 5,000 contracts earlier. It seems like everybody's just news trading the past few months. Like, look at these news candles, 56,000 contracts on that news candle there. Was that more than the open? I think it was. Just barely less than the open. So the opening candle was 61,000. The news candle was about 57. This is a pullback into the overnight low, 37.26. So far failing. That node is basically right on the overnight low. So as long as you hold below that level, you are still pretty bearish here.
Good morning.
What's going on? The local 618? Yeah, you mean of the day? I think it is. Yeah, pretty much to the tick. It's just insane how fast ES is moving. Like that little pullback to the overnight low, we're already 6 to 7 points away from that in about about a minute and a half. It's crazy. So we have a little bit of bullish demand right around here. So you're kind of stuck between two major levels. You got major support around like 13, 14, major resistance around 25. Yeah, and the problem is you can't hold anything because you can't trust it, right, Johnny? So like you have it pushed down, say you're up like 5 points, you could literally look away for 2 seconds and it's going to sweep you out. That's why it's insanely hard to trade right now. This is the big dilemma where volatility is extremely high, right? So people are looking at it, they're thinking, oh, it's super easy. You can get in a trade, you can make 5 points in like 1 minute. But what they don't realize is it's damn near impossible to manage risk, right? Managing risk in a market like this is extremely hard to do. Because what are you going to do? Are you going to trail your stop loss? You're going to get stopped out instantly. You're going to bring your stop to break even? You're going to get stopped out instantly, right? Basically, trying to hold on to runners, not going to work out. There's like no way to trail this. Overnight low is 26 quarter. It's exactly what happened to you. Yeah. Took profit at 12 points. You were looking for the run to 50s. Completely wiped out the rest of break even. Yeah. Yeah, so typically what we've been doing, probably for like, what, 2-3 months now, we've been trying to at least. We've been trying to leave runners. I'm not very good at leaving runners. I kind of struggle with leaving runners. I like closing my trades kind of one-to-one. But we were trying to leave runners, right? You can't leave runners right now. It's extremely hard to do. Unless you just leave your stop loss alone and you do not touch it, it's really hard to leave runners. This is the type of trading where you just want to be really patient and look for that one banger trade and just hold on to it as long as you can. But like I said, leaving runners is hard. But if you can hold on to a trade that run, like say like this right here, where you have this like nasty sell-off, right? That's 35 points. If you were able to hold on to that for like 20 points, you're just done. You know what I mean? It's a one and done trade. You just take your points and get out. You don't want to be in and out of this market. You want to be finding a really good trade and trying to capture like your daily goal in one trade. And this is exactly what I'm talking about here. Like if you tried to short this overnight low retest, it looked really good. You were up about 10 points. You probably would have taken profit for at least a part of your position. If you would have trailed your stop or moved it to break even, you're completely wiped out on the rest in the span of 3 minutes. I don't think so, Leo. I think their free version lets you use their backtester, I believe. I haven't had the free version for what, like 6 years now, so I really don't know what the free version offers. But I believe you can use the backtester. If I remember correctly, I was using the backtester and building like strategies before I bought my lifetime. But like I said, that was 6 years ago, so I don't know. I don't know what the free version offers now. 3 minute flipping back into a buy here. That bull div that we talked about is playing out. Bull div on the 3 minute, bull div on the 5 minute. Slight bull div on delta. So this is a type of trade. If you guys were watching our stream like what, 3-4 months ago, we took this trade a lot with like the delta hitting high a day, price was lagging behind it. We looked for the break of VWAP and we followed price into high a day, right? We have not taken that trade recently because you can't really trust Delta right now. Delta is very hard to trust. But this was a perfect trade in that old environment. We had the bull div on Delta. Delta broke VWAP. Then price followed, right? Price is following, or sorry, price broke VWAP. Delta broke high a day. Then price followed. So you're looking for high of day here on price because Delta is maintaining high of day. So high of day on price would be around 39. Sorry, let me start that setup over because I kind of butchered it. Step 1, you look for the bull div on Delta. Step 2, you look for price to break VWAP. Step 3, you look for Delta to break high of day. Step 4, you look for price to follow into high of day. It's basically just Delta is breaking out into the high, price is lagging behind. You want to look for price to follow. Perfect match candle of 15. Yeah, you're not lying. That's a beautiful match candle. Perfect match candle of 15 here. The problem is this match candle directly back into the trend. If you start to hold above POC here, this looks really good, but directly back into the trend for now. We're trying to flip this bearish demand zone. Let's see how we can react to 25 here. If you immediately see buy pressure off 25 here, it looks pretty good. Yeah, I'm not sure, Leo. You might need certain data. But you should, if you connect to the end of day data, that should be enough for backtesting. I believe Kinetic gives free end of day data, and that should be enough for using the tester. Yeah, Lewis, don't worry about it, man. It's a rough market right now. If you guys are losing money, losing trades in the past, I'd say like 3-4 weeks, I would not be beating yourself up too much. This is one of the most brutal markets we've seen. And I know I keep saying that, but it really is. Like this market is extremely hard to trade. If you guys were trading back in 2020, 2021, that was an easy market, right? It got a little worse towards the end of 2021 into 2022. Even towards the end of 2020 into 2021, it got a little bad because of the election. But this market is pretty bad. The tape is extremely thin. Volatility is extremely high. Anytime the tape is thin like this, new traders or like traders that are not disciplined, you are going to get rugged. Like this market is designed to destroy you. You entered trading in the exact bear market beginning. Yeah, it just sucks. It happens to a lot of people. I honestly think it's better. I know it sucks for you guys who are like losing money, but I honestly think it is better for people to start in a bear market than a bull market. Because you don't want to get used to the fact that you can just buy the close, sell the open, and trading's that easy. You know what I mean? Like for the people that started at the bottom of 2020 and they just heard about trading, they weren't able to work because of COVID, and they were just buying the close, selling the open. That's not what trading is, right? It's not going to be that easy all the time. It's like I always say, a new trader making money is far worse than a new trader losing money. Because a new trader who makes money, they think they're doing everything right. And all that money they made is going to get completely annihilated as soon as the market changes. Look at what crypto did to people. Crypto tricked people into thinking they were the greatest traders ever, and then it absolutely annihilated them. And the funny thing about crypto is it does that much faster than equities. Crypto lulls you into this sense of security. You think you're safe, you think you know what you're doing, and then overnight it drops 30% or whatever, and you get completely killed. You're getting a 30-minute match candle as well if we close like this in 8 minutes. Three-minute buy, but no confirmation on VWAP. Obviously, no trend confirmation either. Trend is very bearish. Look for a confirmation on VWAP. Where is the daily? I think we broke the daily, right? Yeah, daily VWAP at 24. So we do have daily confirmation. We do not have confirmation on the full session. If you're taking the delta trade, you're still looking for high day. As long as delta maintains this trend, you are looking for high day, which is around 39 to 40. Yes, for sure, Gonzalez, for sure. Learning to trade in this market will definitely help you in the future markets. What I try to do in bear markets is I try to focus heavily on working on my indicators, expanding my learning material, like just building not exactly my trading, like not exactly trying to trade a shit ton, but building my tools. Like if you guys have been in my stream since 2018, funny enough, almost all of my indicators that I built have been built in bear markets. Like we built the bot, the OTS, the Momo, pretty much all the big indicators we built in bear markets. So I try to like pull back from trading so much and focus on expanding my tools. So when the bull market comes around, we have these tools ready to go, right? Thoughts on tick charts? I think tick charts are perfectly fine. I think a lot of people enjoy trading tick charts. I much prefer to trade candlestick charts. I go back to tick charts every now and then, but I've been trading candlestick charts for so long that I just prefer candlestick charts. I think tick charts, it's one of those things where you're one or the other. It's really hard to do both simultaneously. I think you either enjoy looking at candlesticks or you enjoy looking at something like Renko or tick charts. It's really hard to do both. By the way, we perfectly flipped 25. So we pulled back to retest 25. That was the bearish demand block. It is now a bullish demand block. And look at that retrace. Perfectly retested it. Now we're up 12 points on that retest. Now we're testing the session VWAP. Session VWAP is at 38. Very strong buy pressure here. This is the overnight fade playing out. Overnight fade coming into mid 50s. is what you want to look for. Also lines up with the 30-minute trail. You've been trying to combine the two. It hasn't been as fluid. Yeah, I don't recommend combining the two. I think you should work on one or the other. It becomes very confusing if you're trying to combine them and do different analysis on both. You're going to get a lot of conflicting signals, and you're going to be arguing constantly in your head, like, okay, which one do I trust? So I think you need to pick one and stick to it. Yeah, range charts, all those charts go into the same category. Like range charts, Renko charts, tick charts. What else is there? Those are the main ones. All the charts that like try to cut out chop. They try to consolidate price. They don't care so much about time, they care about price. But all those charts kind of fall into the same category. And like I said, if you're using one of those charts, I do not recommend constantly flipping back and forth and going from like a Renko to a candlestick. You really should just pick one and stick to it. Yeah, you could just look at the volume on the candles on the way down and then on the way up. The volume is pretty strong on both. It's stronger on the way down because obviously we had news and we had the opening candle. So it's always going to be stronger. But the volume on the way up is actually pretty good. It's 30,000 pretty much every single candle. This is one of those candles that you have to worry about. We talked about this on part 2, I believe. Let me show you the footprint here. So this is one of those candles you have to be a little worried because this entire candle is nothing but bullish imbalance. Which, yes, right now that is bullish, that is strong. But if this does not show support on the way down, they're going to completely get squeezed out. It goes back to what we talk about with the tree profile. Think of this candle as a tree. It's building the branches, but it's not protecting the branches just yet. So if it comes down, it needs to protect those branches. If it does not protect them, they get squeezed. Overnight fade playing out beautifully here. Look for mid-50s, 50 to 55 here. Yeah, exactly. They're all those types of charts are based on price, not time. So like I said, if you're using a price chart, you don't need to constantly flip back to a time chart. What I do recommend, if you do want to look at something that is kind of time focused while you're Renko charting or one of those charts, look at a market profile chart or a volume profile, whichever one you prefer. Preferably market profile, because market profile is time based, right? So you can compare your like Renko chart with something like this that breaks up the sessions into a profile, right? Okay, so the high day target has been hit. If you guys were taking that delta setup, as long as delta is uptrending, you were looking for high day. High day has been hit. So you should be out of that trade. That was about 10 to 15 points if you took the break of VWAP. That's what you do, Rocket. You have TPO on the left and Renko on the right. Yeah, it's a good combination because Rinko, you're looking at purely price action. And then on TPO, you're looking at kind of price and time, volume and time. If you guys are enjoying the stream, hit that like button. It does help a lot on YouTube. If you guys are just stopping in, remember we are doing our part 3 of the How to Trade Footprint Charts today at 3 p.m. So if you want to come by for that, be sure to stop back by around 3. Parts 1 and 2 have been posted on YouTube. So if you guys haven't already checked those out. Dollar coming down a bit here. It's bouncing right now, but the trend is down. Not a whole lot of volume on this sell candle here. It is picking up a little bit though. So this is what we're worried about, is that candle had nothing but bullish imbalances. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 8,000. About 8,000 contracts on that 30-minute candle. So we have to respect this value when we pull back. We're already not respecting 2 of the nodes. I'd say if we start holding below like 30, it's starting to get a little scary. Then if we start to hold below 25, it's starting to get really scary. I wouldn't say we're squeezing just yet, but it's getting a little worrying for sure. This candle is very bottom heavy. So if this candle closes like this, you're going to start pushing down most likely. What do you mean, Joe? You mean on like SPX or something? What's going on, Vista? Another 5-minute match candle, almost like an engulfing candle coming in. We are failing the session VWAP. Session VWAP is at 38. Let me throw on the daily VWAP over here as well. So that white line is the daily VWAP, dotted line is the session. You can see we have a lot of bullish demand being lost here. Yeah, Joe, there was a couple of hedge levels for the FOMC. One was 390, one was 385. They got completely obliterated. We took the 390 lottos yesterday. We made some money on those. Thankfully, we got out of them before it started nuking. What is the current hedge level for Friday? The old hedge level was 385, I think it was. Let me see here on Friday. Looks like 370s have a ton of volume. 365s. I think 370s are the level. 107,000 volume on the put side, 60,000 open interest on the put side. 365s are also pretty big. So people are loading up on these put side contracts. Session VWAP starts the previous day when the session opens. Futures are a little confusing because what's today? Today's Thursday. Thursday's open is Wednesday. Right? Wednesday afternoon is Thursday's open. A lot of people don't understand that with futures. It's kind of the whole point with futures is nearly 24/7 market. So we are respecting this 30 value. That is a good sign. We really do not want to start holding below 30 or 25. The bulls will completely get lost. Do we have any more news today? I don't think we do. 10:30 natural gas, that already came out. And that is it for the day. It's funny, we just had the FOMC, right? So people are like, oh, yeah, the FOMC's over. It's probably not going to be too much news chop moving forward, right? Problem is, what's next week? It's fucking election week next week. So it's probably going to be even worse than FOMC. For you guys that are not American, next week on Tuesday is our congressional elections. So it's most likely going to be pretty choppy, going from Tuesday to like Friday when we have all the election stuff happening. Yeah, we also have non-farm tomorrow, so. If you're anchoring the VWAP, you just anchor it to 930, which is the open. The only reason I'm anchoring it to 930 here is because you can't set, with my current indicators, with the built-in VWAP, you cannot set your VWAP to the open if you're using the full session, the extended hours. So if you want to anchor your VWAP, you have to anchor it to 930, which is the cash open. Five-minute trail just flipped green. You're back above the monthly VWAP close of October. How is our weekly profile turning out here? Let's take a look. Probably looks like absolute shit thanks to the FOMC. What's today? Thursday? Let's see here. Yeah, so it turned into a P shape, and it's a P shape that's being trapped. So P shape, trapped buyers, big gap in the middle from 95 to 36. So if we do show a strong weekly close, that would be an obvious target for next week, is filling in that FOMC gap. Still holding the buy signal on the bot, still holding the 30 to 25 support. So if you're in a long, I wouldn't be too worried just yet. We do really want to get back above 40, obviously. That's that demand zone. That's also VWAP. I'm not sure how long the voting is going to take for this election. Obviously, it was a shit show with the last election, so this is a different election, though. This is not a presidential election, right? I don't really know what to compare it to for other countries. I'm not sure how you guys do your all of your elections, but it's basically like prime minister and then parliament. So like if you have like a parliament, we have a Congress, we have a president instead of a prime minister. The president is every 4 years, and then basically what our parliament would be, our Congress is every 2. Or sorry, every 4, but it's in between. So basically every 2. What's governor? Governor is 4, I believe.
Governor's 4, but they rotate which state does which year.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Virginia's one of the what do they call them? The in between or something like that. Certain states have the elections right after the presidential election, but before the Congress.
Could have kept so much more in that trade.
Is that what he said, Tim? I didn't catch that. He said that it was going to take a long time to count the votes. What kind of footprint is this? This is a delta footprint. We're just looking at basically a delta ladder is the common term for it. It's a delta ladder. Looking pretty good here if it holds back above 40. Volume's drying up pretty quickly, but that was volume on the sell side, so that's okay.
Find this breakout.
It's a pretty good breakout. Lewis, you must be new here, man. That's every year. They've been talking about that for probably 50 years, ever since television and the internet existed.
It's not a good trade, that thing.
It's not bad. 40's holding. You get back below 40, I'd be worried. It's bad if you bought 45 or 46.
Paid 43 in the orders and 46.
Yeah, the problem is you get in too high. You wait for the breakout, then you buy.
It's scalping here.
Hitting the 15-minute trail here is trying to break.
I mean, it looks good. It looks good.
You got a lot of value at 43.
I did bid it a little bit too quick, but it looks good.
What is ZB, Manzer? We looked at that before. It's like it's an interest rate or some shit, isn't it? Treasury bond. Yeah, if I trade anything like super fundamental, I'm gonna be trading ZN.
How long are we holding this still, Deja?
50 to 53 is the main target. Overnight fade. Gonzalez, once you have like a set of indicators and like kind of tools that you use to figure out your setups, the only way to really help conviction is just intuition. You have to build that screen time and get used to that feeling that you have like before you take the trade. That can't really be taught. That has to be learned. Like it has to be learned from the market. Nobody can teach you that. Okay, here's 50. You could start looking to close if you guys are taking this trade anywhere from the mid 20s to 40.
I took it off, Deja. That was a banger. Thank you.
50, yeah, 50 to 53 is the main target here. Building nice value here at 48, but it needs to start pushing. You don't want to get trapped up here. Strong close. Needs to hold. Weak opening confirmation. At this point, I would trail pretty damn tight. Because the retraces we've been seeing are just absolutely ridiculous. I would probably trail at 45 maybe. You're going to get trailed out if it pulls back, but that's kind of the point.
Should have held that trade on longer, hey?
50 to 53. Here she comes.
I front ran it. Front run everything.
There's 50. So basically anywhere from here to 53. Big and balanced already. 2,300 contracts on the high here. It's a good and bad thing. You do not want to see a pullback. Not the reaction to 50 you wanted to see. These pullbacks have to be extremely shallow or you're going to trap these 2,000 contracts. This is why you want to trail super tight. Yeah, if it starts holding below 45 here, I would trail out. If you're being very conservative, you could stay below 40, but you're going to give up a lot of points. Still holding. This pullback is very shallow. Like I said, you want it to be shallow. Getting a little weak here.
Hello.
If it holds
Dude,
below 45, it's looking pretty ugly.
yo, Deja, the vet prescribed my cat morphine and Xanax.
That's hilarious.
I was like, yo, let me get some of that. Are we bidding this or no?
Bouncing off 45, it looks pretty good. Needs to hold above this block at 48.5. Tape is extremely green today. Delta is still rising. Look at that delta. Jesus. This is probably massive profit taking from the FOMC sell-off, which is causing delta to skyrocket like this, but still a good sign. It at least means the bears are a little scared to hold into the weekend or hold into non-farm. You do not want to stall on this high. It has to go for this second push really soon. I'd say in the next 5-minute candle it has to. Stalling on the high here is trapping a lot of contracts. Okay, new 5-minute candle here. You want to start pushing very quickly. You need opening confirmation here. There you go. There's some opening confirmation. You still want to get to like mid 50s if you can. Really nice 5-minute candle. Every tick is green. There you go. Here comes mid 50s. 53 minimum is what you would want to see here. It didn't like that high. Bad test of the high there.
Ripping, dude. I missed it.
I'd trail below 46 at this point. New 5-minute low, I'd probably be done.
I may have just gotten drugged.
Would you buy the fake high?
Bought the fake pullback off the fake high.
It still looks okay. I think if it holds 48 here, it's fine.
I took 5 pennies. Yeah.
It wants mid 50s. I think you'll get 53 to 55. Here it goes again. Let's see. Big seller holding it below 51. Sorry, I'll scrunch this down. I know it's you guys are kind of staring at the top of the chart. Here you go.
Damn it, dude. I should have held that shit. Should I rebuy my price? I don't think they'll give it to me. I think you just gotta chase this shit.
Big seller holding it in the mid 50s.
Big seller?
Yeah, it's just every time it pushes up into 51, 52, it's getting sold.
Once he's done, it's over.
Yeah, nobody wants to buy the top here except for Johnny.
Yeah, I probably. It's bad.
Holding 49, that's that bullish demand block. That's good. 51 is the next demand block. We need to hold that. Holds that, it should spike to 55. This is Ninja Trader I'm using. I'm using a 5-minute footprint chart. It's a delta ladder. Okay, here we go. We're holding 51. It should get 55 here. There is a big seller around 53, which is holding you down. Not so much a big seller. It's mainly a lack of buying, to be honest. But the seller is big enough to hold you down because there are no buyers. At this point, I'd probably be trailing 47 or 45. You want to be a little safe. First exit was 50 anyway, so pulling back to 47, 45 is not a big deal. Nobody wants to buy the overnight fade. Still holding the bullish demand for now, the one at 48. There you go, nice bounce. So the responsive buyers are here, the initiative buyers are not. The buyers are responding on every pullback, they are not responding on the high. Typically that means you're coming to an end of the trend. Notice how they're responding again. Every time it pulls back to 48, they respond. You just have nobody buying above 51. I think it's like Johnny and like one other guy, maybe. All right, is it finally going to do it? Yeah, nobody buying up here. They're so scared to buy the high. You got 53, so 53 was the main level. 55 would be nice, but 53 has been hit. At this point, you could close at any point. The trade is basically over. It'd be nice to get more, but you're not really looking for much more. This is the 30-minute OTS trill and the value area high, so a lot of sell pressure up here. If this is the top of this local trend, you have about 4,500 contracts to squeeze out here, possibly back down to mid 30s. Yeah, looks like the trend is coming to an end here, at least the local one. Volume drying up on the buy side. Possibly back to mid 30s here, but 40 is a demand block. At this point, you pretty much should be fully out of that trade. You either took the breakout of 40, you took the VWAP breakout. If you had a perfect entry, you took the retest of 25. But no matter where you entered, the signal to exit is the same. Overnight fade from 50 to 53, stalling out on the footprint. And there it is. Here comes 40.
We paying this?
No, the trade's over, basically. You could have shorted the stall out at 50, but it'd be a little hard. Mid-30s would be the bearish target. You're bouncing off the demand block at 40. 1 minute pivot as well.
Dude, I like this. At least until 23.
What do you mean, to short?
No, I like buying this until 40. It seems pretty defined, right? That 1 minute pivot, we lose it at Q. What the worst thing in the world.
It's definitely a nasty 30 minute. If we close like this, you could go back down to the mid 20s. Holding the 1 minute pivot though for now. 40 is a demand block. You're still holding the demand block.
I'm out. Good trade, John.
Got a lot of contracts to squeeze here if we lose this 40. 4,500 contracts on the high. Mid 30s most likely, even 25 is on the table.
Wow, they pick the top at 45, huh?
Wait, you picked the top, is that what you said?
I take the top, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Come on, hit me, hit me, hit me, hit me, hit me, you fucking rats. There we go.
40 blocks still holding for now. 1 minute trail flipping red. Three-minute bear div on the Momo. Is it on Delta? Not on Delta. One minute pivot still holding. 40 demand block right on that pivot.
Going to the downside.
This is Ninja Trader 8 for the footprint chart. Bottom heavy close on that 5-minute candle. No opening confirmation.
I scratched out of the trade. Could have taken it for like a couple pennies, but I also had to eat a couple pennies of heat.
Lose 40 gets very dangerous. 35 very likely, 25 possible. Holding the demand block at 40. It likes 40. This demand is coming from, where was it? I think it was this node right here.
Fucking ripping face on me.
So now the sellers are doing what the buyers were doing at the end of the trend. They're being very responsive, but they're not initiating the down move. They're selling on all the pullbacks, but they're not selling on the breaks. See, like right there, they're responding on the pullbacks. They are not responding on the breaks. When you see stuff like that, you want to be a responsive trader, not an initiative trader. Okay, now they're responding on the initiate. You see right there, it started to push the low. They immediately started to build up. Now they're responding on the initiation.
Wow. Dumped. 0.
35 is likely we continue this value. Still responding. Okay, now they're getting a little weak. Let's see if the responsive sellers are still here. You shouldn't get back above 43 here. If it does, it's getting weak to the buy side. Yep. See how it's not getting back above 43? The sellers are holding it. Stuck between 43 and 40 here. Big sellers at 40 now. Well, I've never seen that. It's matching the POC because they're exactly equal in volume. That is hilarious. I've never seen that. Initiative traders coming back in, mid 30s, very likely, 35, 25 possible. Nothing is scary unless 43 is held. I mean, if you're shorting, you're not scared unless 43 holds. Okay, you have to see strong responsive sellers here around 40 to 41. There you go. Responsive sellers at 41, exactly to the tick. No initiative sellers at 38. Once again, you have to see the responders at 41. You're seeing them at 40. That's even better. No initiative traders yet. There you go. There's a little bit. A little bit at 38. You need more at 37. There they are at 37. Still looking for 35. More at 37. That's good. Even more at 37. You should push here. There it is. There's 36. Still looking for 35. Responsive sellers have to hold 39. Still looking for 35. You should get it. Strong sellers at 37, 38. That's good. 35 should be here. There it is. There's 35. Need responsive sellers at 36 here. You should push down to 25.
Okay, so that was a banger trade out of you. I tailed that.
You like that?
You like that?
No, you need the Tom
You're on
Cruise.
fucking fire today.
You need the Tom Cruise. Show me the money.
Show me the money.
Okay, if you hold 35 here, you should easily get 25. You got a lot of contracts to squeeze on the high. Sellers need to hold the pullback at 37. Nobody wants to sell 34. That's not a good first look. Even better, they're holding 36 so far. They're getting a little weak, though. You can see they're stalling out. Yeah, they're stalling out at 36. See if they stall at 37. Stalling on 37 as well. Most likely pull back to 40 here. We'll see. No, they're liking 37. Where's the next level here? Next level would be... Now we kind of already hit it. Next level would probably be like 33s. It's probably done for now. Yeah, it looks like it's stalling for sure. Should get 40.
Dude, I knew when I woke up this was the type of day I like. Those fucking 9 a.m. rally days.
Yeah. Sellers holding 39 is a really good sign here. I don't think it's going to hold for long, though. I think it really wants to tap 40.
Roku's up 13% since the open.
Dog shit.
Up 23% since the lows.
Yeah, here comes the 40 tap that we were talking about. It wants 40. You can tell it wants 40. It hit 39.5 in stalling. There's 40. If it holds 40 here, it's going to instantly go to 43, most likely. Yep, there you go. Teleporting to 43. Stopped at 42.75. Yeah, so there you go. Stopped at 43 as expected. Still looks pretty bearish if it holds below 38. It is holding 38, 39 here, though. All right, we're going to call it there. I think I've given you guys enough points today. I'm going to call it a stream. I appreciate you guys being here. Remember, if you guys want to come by for the part 3, probably the final part to the footprint series, make sure to come by today at 3 p.m. Eastern. I tried to give you guys a little bit of how I read the footprint in the last, hour and a half. We had really good calls going up to 53, back down to 35, and then back up to 43 there. So hopefully you guys were able to make some money. I'm not always going to spoon feed you guys level by level like that. It's very mentally exhausting to call out every single level. But hopefully you guys learned a lot here in the last hour. I will be, like I said, streaming at 3 p.m. Eastern. We'll be going over footprint part 3. And yeah, that's all I got for you guys. I'll be hanging out in Discord for the rest of the day. If you guys are in Discord, just head over to the trading floor, and I'll see you guys there. Peace out, guys.